Hey everyone, this video I'm going to talk about some of the deployment patterns. So when we have developed microservices, it's time to run those microservices. So we deploy those microservices over some of the systems so that it can be accessed over internet properly. This video I am going to talk about few of those patterns. First among which is multiple service instances per host, and second is the service instance per host. So let's go ahead and understand one by one. So first one is multiple instances per host. So it is a traditional approach that is being followed when we deploy multiple instances of a service on a single host. So if you see this diagram, it is very clear. It is a service A which has one instance deployed on this, and this is the host. It can be any physical computer system, or it can be a virtual machine as well, or VM and container. I have explained in detail in the previous video what is this all about. So under this host, whether it is a physical or VM, we have first service A which has one instance that is deployed here. We have service B which first instance is deployed here, and we have other service C which first instance is deployed here on this one. So each service's one instance is deployed on this host. The same way we have another host which have second instance of each service is deployed. You can see service A had instance 2, service B had instance 2, same way service C had instance 2. So this is following that individual service can have one instance on a single host. So multiple services having one instances on each host. Other way is also possible. We can have this service A and multiple instances like 1, 2, 3, 4, any instances that I need on the single system, and service B I can have on another host, service C I can have another host. So other way is also possible. This is the traditional way to deploy microservices, or I say any application. To deploy any application, this has been the traditional approach to deploy multiple instances per host. So there are certain advantages of this one. Let's summarize those one. So it is in this case, when we are doing deployment in this way, resource usage is very efficient, because in a single host we are having multiple instances, multiple services of multiple services deployed. So all the resources that we have on that host can be used efficiently, and deployment is very fast here. And there are many drawbacks of this pattern. So it has little or no isolation of service instances unless each service is a separate process. So if we are running these instances in a single service, in a single process, then okay. Otherwise, if we are just starting those instances, then there is no isolation among first instance, second instance, and third instance. This is the major drawback of this one. We cannot limit the usage of resource each instance's usage. So for example, at a particular moment of time, service C gets more load, so it is going to consume most of the resources, most of the resources that this host has, and there will be less available for other instances. So resource fighting is going to be a lot in this strategy of deployment. So ops team means operations team, which is going to take care of the deployment process, has to know the specific detail about the service to deploy it. What do I mean by the specific service? Means in which language they are written, how to deploy that, what are those commands. So these are the specific things that ops team has to know, and it's very difficult, right? So they cannot when they have to know all these details, they cannot focus on the automation and more efficient monitoring of the host machine and all those things. So there is a lot of, this is the traditional approach of deployment. So there are lots of drawbacks that can be solved easily with the other patterns that we have. So let's go ahead and see that. So next one that we are going to see is service instance per host. So single instance is going to be on the host. Here when I'm talking about host means two things, means virtual machine as well as we have container also. So the job of host will be done by the VM as well as container here. So now we have service instance per VM, we have service instance per container. Let's go ahead and see this. First is service instance per VM. So here we have this service and it will be packaged inside a VM image, and this, when we are starting this VM, we are deploying this VM image, so actually we are starting that services. So let's go ahead and cover few points about this one. So each service is packaged as service as VM image. If I talk about an example, if you have used Amazon EC2 instances that we create, so that is actually Amazon EC2 image, and each service instance, when we start those images, that we get instance of this EC2, that is being that is what we are starting an image. So that instance is a VM example EC2 instance that we have. So there are lots of tools for the VM creation. So this is one emulator that is being used by Netflix, and then we have Poker, which is provided by this HashiCorp. So both of those can be used to create the VM and package the services into that. So let's see the benefits of this one. Each service is in complete isolation because they are running in its own VM and if it is in a VM, it is separate from other VMs, so it is in isolation, and there is going to be no disturbance into this one from other instances. So it is we can get benefit of the mature cloud infrastructure to benefit from that. I took the example of Amazon here. There are Azure, Google also that gives this facility to create the VM. There are certain drawbacks of this as well. Less efficient utilization of resources. So if we have provisioned a VM and a service is starting into that, and there are cases that that service is getting less traffic. So in that cases, the resources that we have assigned to that VM will be less utilized, and there are no chances that can be shared from other VMs. And deploying new instances is relatively slow because provisioning a VM, starting a VM in itself a costly process, and it's a huge size, like its size goes in gigabytes, so it takes time to start. So these are the certain drawbacks, and these are the few drawbacks that can be handled by another strategy if we replace this VM by the container. Let's see that. Now each service can be packaged as a container, and those containers can be transported to any VM that we have, and that container can be started as an individual instance of service. So this is one VM, this is another VM. Still we have VM virtual machines because we need that. But the benefit in this case is that container, the benefits that we get out of the concept of container here, so that resources can be utilized properly and all those things. So let's summarize those points. So each service runs in its own container here instead of VM. So inside a single VM we can have multiple container. So service is packaged as container, and this container is a file system image and contains all the libraries that it needs to start the app service. And there are different tools for this container technology. So first and very popular is the Docker. Then we have Solaris Zones as well. So we have Kubernetes, which is the orchestration framework that can help us to efficiently use these containers. We have another framework that is Marathon. We have Google Container Engine. We have Amazon EC2 container service as well. So let's see the benefits. This is an isolated instance. We can efficiently monitor the resource usages. It is lightweight than VM. It is very quick to start. So these are the isolated instances, so there are less chances of clashing of the processes and things that we can think of. And if I say about the drawback, it is not secure as virtual machines, and because containers are relatively new concept, so they are not as mature as VM. So there are certain drawbacks with VM, but they are more mature and most of the industries are using. So container is relatively new, but it's being adopted by very popular companies, and it's coming into trend. I have taken the reference from these two resources here. If you want to know more about it, you can go ahead and check out these. Next video, I am going to explain you about this serverless and function as a service. Want to see other topics under this architecture series? This is the link that you should check out. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care, stay safe, bye bye.